Hello and welcome to this presentation of the pilot training in East Iceland. msdo was responsible for the pilot training in the project and we trained two groups. Our first group came from Starfa, which is a vocational rehabilitation center in East Iceland. Classes were taught once every 2 weeks for 16 weeks, 2 hours at a time, and after that individualized follow-up was offered once a month. The course lasted for a whole year in total. The participants had all temporarily left the labor market because of health issues. They participated in a program at Starfa where they attended different courses and activities. 20 participants started the course, but 13 finished the follow-up program. We required 50% attendance to the classes in order to continue to the follow-up program. Our second group in the pilot training came from East Iceland, which is a big fish factory in East Iceland. The setup was different from that of Starfa. In order to adapt to shift work and seasonal changes in workload at East Iceland, the classes were divided to 3 periods. Between classes, a follow-up was offered, which that then continued after the classes finished up to 1 year in total. The number of participants was 12, and all of them completed both the training and the follow-up. Let's look closer into each group. We start with Starfa. This group was easy to access. They were already in a program and they had the time and opportunity to attend the classes. The participants knew each other rather well and were open and relaxed. It was usually easy to get them to express themselves. We have to keep in mind that this group didn't have full working physical or mental capacity. Many tasks that are simple and easy for people with full energy could be a big challenge for them. They were not always willing to put in extra work between classes, some because they didn't have the physical or mental strength. The important thing for this group was to help them take easy baby steps, to plant some seeds and give them tools and information needed to improve their lifestyles in their own pace. Help them see that they can have an impact on their own health without having to change everything. It was important to empower them. For this group, the follow-up was very important, but it turned out to be a lot of work for the coach. As was said here before, the follow-up lasted for 8 months, which is a long time to keep the participant active. Some of them had already finished the rehabilitation program and were hard to reach. Many of the participants wouldn't answer emails, so it was necessary to phone, oftentimes just meet the person to stay in contact. Many were struggling with the goals, but some did well and stuck to the plan. Now let's look into the second group, the employees of East Iceland. Of the 12 participants, 8 worked at the office, so the shift workers were relatively few in the program. Here we have participants with full working capacity. They were more willing to put in some homework and had higher self-esteem. They believed that they could change their lifestyle and had the energy to do it. Most of them were in good balance in their private lives. All this matters when you are trying to influence people's lifestyle. Most of the participants already lived a rather healthy lifestyle, but of course there was room for improvement. At the beginning of the course, most of them were satisfied with the amount of sleep they were getting. Many were doing some kind of exercise on a regular basis, walking, yoga, swimming, CrossFit or Zumba. But there was a big gap between the ones with the most active and those with the least active lifestyles. The active ones did have positive influence on the less active in the group. They were all willing and found it important to increase the amount of weekly exercise. All participants seemed rather aware of the importance of healthy diets, but some lacked knowledge, so the information they got through the life and health training was valuable. The follow-up went well with this group. We got good response using email, messenger, and interviewing. All the participants live in the same town, which made it easier to call them in for interviews. The participants that worked together at the office were able to support each other. We would like to show you the structure of the classes. In each class, the emphasis is on the participation of the students. Get them to talk, observe their own lifestyle, and give them tasks to work on in the class and between the classes. First class, health checks were offered. The coach and the content of the course was introduced. Participants evaluated their lifestyles and health. Theories of behavioral changes were discussed. And second class was dedicated to goal setting, why we set goals, how we do it, and what to avoid. Habits, how we take up new habits one at a time. Mindset, fixed and growth. The third class was about mental health, for example, sleep, stress, balance, gratitude, thinking errors, meditation, and mindfulness. Cognitive behavioral therapy on how our thoughts control how we feel was discussed. The fourth class was about exercise. The participants talked to each other about exercise that they enjoy or have done in the past. They talked about excuses they have made for not being active and possible solutions. We talked about why exercise is so important, what we gain mentally, physically, and socially from exercise. Fifth class was also about exercise, how to maintain the exercise, how to make it a routine, how we are able to record exercise, for example, by using apps, how we can build up exercise starting with warm-up, how to practice, for how long, what muscle groups we use, how to cool down, the importance of stretching. In this class, the coach was a sport instructor. Sixth class was about diet and nutrition. The coach discussed how nutrition influences our health. The three main nutrients, protein, fat, and carbohydrates. The participants learned to look up information about the nutrition of the food, how to put together a food plan for one day, and calculate the nutrients. The seventh class was also about diet and nutrition. The topic of the class was how to read packaging, what is healthy and what is not, how to put together a food plan and shopping list for 1 week. Different types of diet were discussed and the importance of critical thinking. Homework was to do a food diary for 3 to 7 days. Both classes on diet and nutrition were taught by a nurse. The eighth and the final class was used for review and preparation for the follow-up. The course was evaluated by the participants. We did a review of the training and took a good time for goal setting. Follow-up, the coach would meet the participants individually to start the follow-up, offer a health check and help with goal setting. At the end of the course, we met the participants individually. They set 1 or 2 goals. It is important to start easy and write down the goals. There was a follow-up once a month by email, messenger, phone call, and meeting. The goals were reviewed each month with in mind if there was something participants wanted to change, what was working well, what was not working, and why. When a new goal or habit had become a routine, we would set a new goal. After teaching these two groups, we believe that a setup between these two would be optional. Possibly a layout where the group meets in 2 periods instead of 3 would be the most effective. By dividing the classes in 2 with follow-up in between, and at the end, the participants stay more motivated when they know that they are coming back to meet the group and the coach. It gives opportunity to talk about the experience from the lifestyle changes and the follow-up in the classes. What works well, what mistakes were made, what obstacles they met, and how they overcame them. This way, participants can change their goals and set new ones more effectively. They are more able to support and learn from each other.